Hi, I'm Savabelle from the Machosen 4-H Club, and this is my second year in 4-H. Today, I will be making an oven-roasted duck with kohlrabi fries in duck fat and a garden salad.
First, let's start with the duck. Preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit and position an oven rack on the second level of your oven. Wash your hands thoroughly. Grab your duck and pat it dry with a paper towel. Score your duck diagonally with a sharp knife, making sure the cuts are 1 inch apart from each other. Just cut the skin and not the meat, otherwise it might dry out during the cooking process. Do the exact same on the other side. Once both sides are done, score on the opposite diagonal. With a paring knife, poke the skin everywhere. Doing this helps drain the fat from the bird when it's cooking, and later we will use some of the fat to cook our fries in. After the poking, coat your bird in olive oil and rub all over. But before you do that, pour some kosher salt into a ramekin to avoid cross-contamination. Sprinkle a generous amount of salt on the bird and throw some salt in the cavity. Put your duck in a roasting pan and throw it in the oven. Let it cook for 1 hour.
One hour later.
After you rip around on your ATV for an hour, take your duck out of the oven and poke it all over again. It will be much easier to poke the bird now since it's cooked for a while and the skin has hardened up. Flip your duck over without burning yourself and poke all over again on the back. As a reminder, just poke the skin and not the meat. If you poke the meat, some of the bird's juices will ooze out, making it not as moist as desired. Return your bird to the oven with the breast facing down and cook for another hour.
1 hour later.
Good morning, Jezebel.
After spending an hour of quality time with your cow, take your duck out of the oven and poke all over again. At this point in the recipe, a lot of fat from the bird has drained out, and as most of us know, hot fat is very, very hot, so just be extra careful when you're flipping your bird over. After poking, return your duck to the oven for another hour with its breast up. Now that we have a whole nother hour on our hands, pull up a kohlrabi and a lettuce head.
Here's our bed of lettuce. I'm going to pull up a whole head for our garden salad. So, let's do it. Nice. Oh, I pulled up too.
Make sure to show your pet turkey some love too.
Come on, smile for the camera, turkey.
Here are the quantities for the glaze, so pause if you need more time. Mix in the ingredients into a medium saucepan and leave it alone for a couple hours. We'll reduce it right before the duck's ready to be eaten. Once your 1 hour timer has gone off, take your duck out of the oven and poke it all over again. As you can hear, the fat is bubbling and sizzling. Be extremely, extremely careful when flipping your bird over. Return to the oven for 50 minutes with its breast facing down. Since we have 50 minutes, let's prep the fries and the salad. When cutting unstable vegetables in the kitchen, use the claw technique. All this is holding your hand like a claw over the vegetable. Make sure your knuckles are closer to the knife than your fingertips. Make sure you use a sharp knife. Sharp knives are much safer than dull knives and cut way easier. When I was prepping the kohlrabi, I forgot to cut off the skin. It's better to cut it off because cooked kohlrabi skin tends to get chewy and tough. Cut the kohlrabi in the middle, then cut into 1/2 inch chunks and 1/2 inch strips. A 1/2 inch is approximately the size of your fingernail, so if you're unsure how big to cut them, use your fingernail. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil, grind some black pepper, and sprinkle in a little bit of salt. Put your fries aside and mince 2 cloves of garlic with a garlic press. If you don't have a garlic press, you can use a knife to finely chop the garlic. Pick some parsley from your garden and chop it finely with a knife. Once that's done, grab a block of Parmesan cheese and a cheese grater and grate roughly 1 cup of cheese. Now, onto the salad. First, wash your salad greens and make sure they're completely dry. Put the greens in a salad bowl and start prepping your other salad ingredients. Portion 1 cup of cranberries, and 1 cup of crumbled feta cheese from your own cow. If you don't have your own cow, I guess it's okay to buy it from the store. Moving on to the salad dressing, finely dice 1 small shallot. Put the diced shallots in a jar. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, a few grinds of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano from your garden, and 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Give it a good shake and let it sit for at least 5 minutes so that the vinegar and the salt can break down the shallots. At least 5 minutes later, add a 1/2 cup of olive oil and shake. Taste test it every now and then with a clean fork. Once it's the way you like it, add in 2 cloves of minced garlic and set aside. I use my knife to mince the garlic here because I like my garlic to be chunky. After 50 minutes, turn up the heat on the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and flip your bird over with its breast facing up. Also, start the blaze. Put it over medium heat and stir often until slightly thickened. Take it off the heat as soon as it's done, otherwise it'll turn into taffy. After a collective 4 hours in the oven, take your duck out and drain the fat that's at the bottom of the pan. Be very careful because the pan and the fat are super hot. Drain the fat into another pan. Grab your glaze and a pastry brush and rub the glaze all over the bird. Put it in the oven for 15 minutes, let it rest for 10 minutes afterwards, turn down the heat on the oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and then carve it. When carving the leg, use a fork to pull the leg away from the body and cut the joint that connects the leg to the body. Try and cut only the joint and not the bone, because cutting the bone will dull your knife. For carving the breast, run your knife against the breastbone of the bird. Gently pry the breast away from the body and use your knife to cut along the bone. Cut the breast into diagonal strips and neatly arrange on your platter. For the wing, cut the shoulder joint and then pop it out. On a pan over medium-high heat, add your duck fat and your fries. Don't crowd the fries or stack them on top of each other because they won't get crispy. Every 2 or 3 minutes, check the bottoms of some of the fries to make sure they're browning nicely. Once the bottoms are golden brown, flip your fries over and let them cook on the other side for 2 to 3 minutes. Turn the heat down to low and stir in your garlic. Turn off the heat and mix in most of your parsley, saving some for the garnish. Mix in the cheese until melted and scoop into a serving bowl. Garnish with the remaining parsley. Dress your salad, serve your family, and dig in.
And with every great meal, we always have a glass of fresh Jezebel milk. Isn't that right?
Moo, I'm a cow. I can't speak English.